Okay, hey, it's me back home from the Divine Truth Seminar, and I have a lot of changes to make. Woohoo! Change is always good, although it isn't always comfortable, but que sera, sera. One thing that has already, disturbed Haley, I didn't really understand it when I was there, but he was talking about how entitled we are, how good we have things here, and like the rest of the world, there's a lot, like Western cultures, we all have things served to us. And on the backs of the countries that are poor, that can't help themselves anymore because they've been so trodden on, for lack of a better description. So there was a couple things that he said, that he talked about a few things that just would make a huge difference in the world if we changed it. Well, the first thing he talked about was toilet paper, which you've maybe already seen him talk about. He related to when COVID-19 hit. The store shelves were cleared out of toilet paper. Everybody was afraid they would run out of butt wipes. So they came up with a reusable alternative. And I think they're calling them down under wipes. Down under wipes. And they have a like a pattern that you can get on their website to make your own. Another thing that he said that he got was there's some kind of a mini bidet, a portable bidet that you can take with you when you travel, and you're just washing your hiney just with water. Just water. You're not wasting any forests and forests and forests of trees that go into wiping people's asses, and they get down the tank. All those trees are no longer producing oxygen, and so on and so forth. And it's a global perspective for sure. Which if you're not really able or willing to look at a global perspective, you're going to say, "Oh, that's not that big of a deal." But when you have 330 million, let's just say the United States alone, when you have 330 million people who insist on wiping their asses 5 times a day with tree pulp, you can imagine how much industry is going into toilet paper alone. And then it's not recyclable. It might go back into fertilizer, but it's not going back into another tree going up. So it's depleting the resources quickly that way. So to look into these down under wipes, I think it would be a challenge to do. But I want to do that challenge. I've got lots and lots of clothes that I don't wear. And, what I've been doing is, just donating them to the thrift store because I don't know what to do with them. Well, gee, I could cut them up and start making bum wipes. No, they were calling them bum wipes, and then they decided to call them down under wipes. So, that is just one small, tiny way that you can make a difference in your own corner of the world, wherever it is. And if every single person would make that small, tiny change, the toilet paper industry would be out of business. They wouldn't have to cut down so many trees, and we would be saving oxygen for the earth. So it's a planetary problem. And how, what does it say? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So I'm pledging to make that first step. So there it is for toilet paper and down under wipes. You can watch some of the videos that they've show them where they explain how they work and the care or whatever, and how much easier they are. Another thing that he was talking about is meat, eating meat. And here's the thing about eating meat. It might seem really innocent enough. You go to the store, you pick out a package, it looks really nice. But do you have any idea how it got from the farm to the grocery store? If you research each step that's put into getting that piece of meat to the grocery store, you will be amazed at the amount of effort that goes into it. And he talked about back in the 1st century, the only people that were eating meat were like the priests. And they were getting meat from people's sacrifices, because that was, they would sacrifice the blood. But who do you think got the meat? The priests. They lived on meat. So it was a sign of superiority to eat meat. I think there's another word too, but a sign of, they're better than us, right? So anyone that's eating meat, what you're actually saying is that I deserve this, and the people who work to give it to me, that's their job, is to provide me with this luxury. Okay, so meat was considered a luxury. And I did go and I watched a video of a slaughterhouse, and I was really, really shocked that they have a night shift where after the day's killing is done, they have a night shift crew that comes in, that they clean everything top to bottom and sterilize it for the next day. And some of the people that go in there and clean those, they are undocumented immigrants and children. So children, there was one child who got caught in one of the machines there, and it honestly, it ground him up. He accidentally turned it on, it got a hold of him, it sucked him in, it ground him up. So when you go and you get some meat to eat, this is what's happening to people who are working to prepare it for you and me. And for me to continue eating meat when I know that is happening is a really unloving thing to do. But because when I'm buying the meat, I'm supporting the entire process that they use to get it to me. So I am no longer giving money for anything that supports mass production meat processing. And I know I'm sure there's other videos out there. I just watched that one. I used to work in a butcher shop, and I didn't work in the kill room, but I did clean the kill room, so I know. And, I don't know how much they shoveled out of there, because by the time I got there, I was like doing the final touches of like finishing washing everything up and sterilizing everything, making sure every little hair was gone. Even if a hair was stuck inside of like the hilt of a knife, I had to make sure that got out of there. So that the next day that they had killing, it would be all clean for them. And I know that when they slaughtered cattle there, the guy that did the killing, he would shoot them, and he was just blank. His name was Emil. I don't remember his last name. Emil something. But the guy was just, he had no care in him at all. He was just like an empty shell. I remember he would there was like a bathroom for like any customers that came in, and all the employees. he would go in there, take his leak, and he wouldn't even flush it. He'd just walk away. He was that uncaring about what he was doing because he didn't have any life in him, because all that killing had sucked the life out of him. So when I buy something from a meat market, I know that there is a person there whose job it is to point the gun at the head of an animal and shoot it. And he has to be totally numb to what he's doing. And you know what they do with pigs too, since I have worked in a meat market, I know this too, is that they shock them and then they cut their throat. And that's so that if the pig got frightened, it would like have all kinds of adrenaline that would shoot out in its in its tissues, and it would make the meat tough. So they had to make sure that the animal was calm and unsuspecting. And then when they shocked it, then it couldn't eject its adrenaline. And then they would hang it and let it bleed out. And to sit there and watch that, because I know they'd put buckets. I didn't see it, but I was on the receiving end of the products that came out of the kill room. The kill room. They would put a bucket under the pig, and they would save the pig's blood, and then make blood sausage. And when in pioneer days, people had to do this for themselves, to feed themselves. And like the Indians, they would be very, very reverent and thankful and grateful for the animal giving its life for them to continue living. And they treated the ceremony with so much respect and gratitude that I can see how if you don't do that, that kind of occupation has to just kill you in your soul. And it's happening everywhere. I mean, everywhere there's a meat packing plant or a butcher shop, this is what's happening. And other animals get slaughtered too. Chickens. I don't really know a lot about chickens. I know my grandma would butcher a chicken, now and then. And she did it but she did it for her own family. She raised them, and I don't remember she raised them for eggs. I know she did them for slaughter, for her own freezer. And even one time, a nephew of hers was visiting, and he said he was going to be out, and she went out and got a chicken and butchered a chicken just for him coming for supper. And apparently when she went out to get it, it got away, and she didn't get it the first time, and the meat was tough. Just because it was frightened, and it, she had to work at it, so it was tough, really tough. So yeah, eating meat seems like a really, really innocent thing to do, but when you look at the steps that people had to take in order for you to have it in front of you, it's being served to you. You don't realize all the pain and agony that people have endured to take it from raising it all the way to the slaughterhouse to bringing it to the grocery store. So when he says he's a vegetarian or vegan, this is why. He said in the first century he couldn't eat meat either, because he saw blood just running down the streets from people slaughtering animals, to sacrifice the blood, and then all the priests got the meat, and they got fat on the meat. They were your ticket to being accepted by God. If you didn't give to them and the church, you were not going to be accepted by God, which is total bullshit. Wow. But in order to be loving, you're going to have that. He called it a sin in the first century, but the word sin translates to missing the mark, which in AA is off the beam. If you're on the beam of being loving in every way, that's what is sinless. Being loving. So if you look at anything you do and measure it against, is there anything in the process of what you do every day that harms someone else? It's sin. So I don't really enjoy the word sin, but it is what it is. So just, that's the easiest way to put it. So there's another thing that he talked about pets, which I just got to my daughter's house, and I'll continue with that one. Okay. Bye.